Alright, y'all, we back with another video. It is July 22nd, Wednesday, 2026. So, today's video will be about overcommitting to a trade, overcommitting to an idea or a target. We got to realize as day traders, we are not here to marry the setups. This is not something you have to be in holy matrimony with. So, I got caught victim of that. And also, I would say some greed played a factor because I wanted my full take profit to get hit, but the market did plenty damage to the downside before we had this run up. So I was on the short side today, so I caught this short leg. This was the spike where I should have was like, okay, we should be going low because we made this first leg, we made this second leg right here, retracement, made this third leg, and boom, one more. This was basically like a stop hunt before reversing. So it's really important not to just overcommit to one idea, especially when the market has just been running in one direction. So at the start of 12, so this 12 a.m. starting a new day. We traded higher, but then we started trading lower. So all of pre-market, a bit of London, because London opened at 3:30 here at this candle. We made a low and retraced higher before going lower again. So I was targeting this 4 hour fair value gap here. Anything yellow, anything yellow on my chart, 4 hour, anything pink, 5 minutes, this blue 1 minute, and you'll see aqua at times. Aqua would be 15 minutes, purple would be 1 hour. So, and of course, any green line, daily, gray lines, weekly. So that's just a little like a legend to understand these different levels that I have because they're color coded for a reason to know which specific levels that I'm looking at. But we had this run lower. We took out these sell sides over here. I wanted to see this sell side taken, and it was. I had some short positions during Asian session, but I kept getting stopped out. I had one trade, stopped at break even, and the second one, I just closed early. I could honestly say I just wasn't confident in that play. So we had all of that for the day. Well, that was in the beginning of the day. So I took two short attempts here. I took two short attempts like pre-market New York and the end of London session. And then I did take like four trades. I took like four trades around this area, this 4 hour fair value gap, looking to short. And I'll say why I had liked the shorts, but we only retraced 50% of New York's range. So this was New York's range. So we made a high and we only retraced 50%. So this could have been an optimal trade entry to go higher. I do like to see these highs taken, filling the entire fair value gap, this entire daily fair value gap. But those were the steps that I took. So I took shorts here, I took shorts here, and I took shorts here in this area. And why I took shorts there during London or pre-market, we were also in a premium range. So you see how the premium range swapped and knowing what time of days to use a premium range. Because if you would have took this very low up here, it would have been really shallow and you probably would have tried to keep holding. And honestly, I did because I had one position break even. So you probably would have thought this was too shallow. And comparing with ES too, let's look at ES and see what ES was doing. So ES had a nice run. I took my shorts on NQ after ES took our previous day's high. So for example, I believe ES had a 50%. So if we're talking about this spike at 9 o'clock or 8:45, so on NQ, it happened at 8:45. Also, also ES. So 8:45, we had that spike lower, and we're expecting this for our fair value gap. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, if it happens to one pair, if it happens to one pair, the other pair is likely to reverse with it. So you have you have these two like they're correlated together. So they won't do exactly the same thing, but they're kind of moving in tandem. So you'll have one level doing one level reaches its a significant low or a PD array and then reverse, and you'll see the other one you expect it to hit like the same level relative to its price point, but it doesn't. It misses the mark and it reverses. And a lot of times because the sister pair already did its damage. So here, if you would have measured the 50%, well, the entire range on ES, you would have seen we reached into 50%. We didn't reach it on NQ, and then we got the reversal. So it's important to be mindful of little. It's always the little intricacies and little details that matters when you're day trading, and just little things like that to just be mindful of when you're in this game. So that was a little bit of ES, like using ES as an indicator. But like I said, I took some shorts during London. What I really wanted during London, I missed my initial entry. So not London, Asian session. So we had this run up, and then because I was already anticipating shorts, then we started closing lower, and I missed this top entry. This was at 950. So I missed a really good entry that I could have held overnight and going into the day. But it's all good. It's always acknowledge what you're doing. Just always be aware of what you're doing and just clean it up and not be sloppy. But that's really it for this review. Not too much, really not too much. Let me show you guys, like I should have knew better, especially with the reversal, especially when we close. So 850 macro time, and we end up closing. We inverted this fair value gap became an inversion, and we started trading higher. And this 5 minute fair value gap. So I had to use this fair value gap, this 5 minute fair value gap, as my reference point. So as price was trading lower and this fair value gap formed, I told myself, okay, I want to see price start trading below it. And as you can see, we did start trading below it, but I wanted it to commit. When we closed above, that should have been my indicator, like, okay, we had this stop hunt here. Now we're closing above, and relative to the time, the macro time, 850, we had all of this run down, all of this run. We didn't retest the new day, the true day open. A lot of little factors. These are relative equal highs also, especially back here in this area. A lot of relative equal highs that were made on the way down. So the signs were definitely there, and I chose to ignore them. I have to acknowledge that, and it's all good. That's why we're making these videos, to just be completely transparent about the game of trading. Every day is not a winning day. Mistakes do happen, and mistakes come in different forms. Mistakes aren't coming all in just one way, but it's important to just always be mindful of what you're doing. Be mindful, and that way keeps your head in the game and allows you to sync up with the market for its next movements or its next leg. So, lesson of the day: do not overcommit to your trades. So, when your trade does its damage, and you need to be aware of certain factors. Another factor too, there was no news driver today. So it's Wednesday. We didn't have any news drivers all week. Oh, 3 3 p.m. Well, that's way before. I was already done trading. So we have news driver tomorrow and nothing Friday for US. But this entire week, we really had nothing in favor of the US. I'm not sure if this was here in the beginning of the week. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But no matter though. I had the mindset that there wasn't a new driver. I wasn't I wasn't thinking that Trump was gonna speak later on today. But regardless of the fact, at the time I was trading, there was no news driver around that time. Nothing at 9, nothing at 8:30. So all in all, it's all good though. So until next time, we'll meet again.